That's an interesting angle. Hello, good morning, afternoon or evening, depending on when you're watching this. It's a Friday, it's a glorious day. There's a big yellow shiny object in the sky and it's almost bank holiday weekend. And myself and Ken, we're heading up to Milton Keynes. Now the reason I've brought Ken along with me today will be revealed a little later in the video, but we're going to see an interesting Volkswagen. What was supposed to be a bigger Golf, but a bigger Golf existed in the early 2000s.
That's right. First there was the Golf Plus, which was a bigger Mark V, which is sort of like a Volkswagen B-Class. Then that became the Golf SV, where the SV stood for sports van rather than super for luxe. And then with the Mark VII Golf, there was the All-Track, which was an estate, which was like a Audi All-Road, slightly higher up. But in 2007, the first SUV spin-off of the Golf was created. You may have heard of this. It's called the Tiguan. But over 3 generations, that has grown to be bigger than Golf size. So that opened up a place in the Volkswagen model range for a Golf-sized crossover to fit in again. And that is called the T-Roc.
Which is what we're going to see and drive today.
As we approach the VW facility to greet the cars we'll be driving, the yellow shiny theme continued. After a quick briefing, we headed out.
Here it is, the latest iteration of the T-Roc in its 2nd generation. This particular press car is finished off in canary yellow, one of 4 brand new colours available. It's built on the MQB Evo platform, so it's 120mm longer, benefiting primarily the passengers in the rear cabin. Few key highlights and changes to the front elements here. The headlights are a lot sleeker. There's a light bar with the illuminated Volkswagen badge. If you're familiar with T-Roc or you own one, you may recall the grille used to be a lot higher up. That's now been moved down to the bottom of the bumper. There are new alloy wheels to choose from. This particular press car is fitted with the 19-inch wheels, but for the first time in a T-Roc, it's also available with 20 inches. There are 2 versions of this turbocharged 1.5 litre 4-cylinder engine available, one developing 114 brake horsepower and one like this one developing 148 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 miles an hour comes up in 8.9 seconds. Both engines are mild hybrid, with the full hybrid arriving later in 2026, and there are no plans for a plug-in variant. At the rear of the T-Roc, we've got this forward-facing C-pillar taken from the previous generation models, and then we've got the light bar, which is consistent with the front of the car as well, with the little X details taken from the ID range. There are no visible exhaust pipes, and they haven't been replaced by fake ones either. And you'll be pleased to know the boot size has expanded as well by 30 litres to a grand total of 475 litres. With the design out of the way, why don't we take it for a drive? First thing you notice when you get in the T-Roc is something you probably wouldn't notice when you're standing outside, and that is the bonnet. On either side you've got these bulges with the indentation in the middle, which makes it really easy to place the car. This car is also equipped with a 360-degree camera, which is great for parking and manoeuvring in tight spaces. Even as the speed increases as we drive out of town, the sound insulation in here is very good. As for the steering, well, there's a sense of consistency about it. It's smooth, it makes it predictable. So when you're driving it in around town, it's really easy to place, it's light, it's weighted well, and when you pick up speed on faster roads, it gives a sense of stability at high speeds. Within a short space of time, you're going to know how it behaves.
Prices for the T-Roc start from a little over £31,500 for the entry-level Life model, with this R-Line car costing £38,935. All models are front-wheel drive only and come with an automatic 7-speed DSG gearbox.
Backed by popular demand is the physical buttons on the steering wheel, so when you're driving there's an instant feel of tactility which is returned to the steering wheel. Gone are the proximity touch sensitive buttons, so fear no longer guys, Volkswagen have listened and they've changed it back to physical buttons. You have on the left hand side a volume switch, and you've got your controls for your adaptive cruise control, and the right all your controls for the instrument cluster, as well as the ability to change the view and fast forward or rewind your favorite tracks. With time you'll be able to control all of these with just feel. The only thing that's left to turn back into physical buttons is the HVAC system. Did you know there was a shortcut to putting your heated seat on by using 2 fingers on cold and hot? That is a really random thing, but it's true. With regards to the engine, it isn't the most powerful. It's more progressive in its pickup and speed as opposed to punchy or pokey, but its real party trick lies in its mild hybrid system. It boosts efficiency by allowing the engine to switch off when coasting, thus saving fuel. And I bet you any money you'll never feel it switching on or off.
Inadvertently, we found that the turning circle in the T-Roc is very impressive too, coming in at just 11.1 meters, ideal for maneuvering in tight spaces and performing efficient U-turns. Factor that in with the parking sensors, the 360 camera, as well as the adaptive cruise control, well, you have yourself a very capable urban cruiser.
With regards to the ride, it's firm, but it's fair. You definitely know that you're in contact with the tarmac, but at the same time, you're not going to rattle your teeth. When cornering, there's a slight hint of lean, which to me is fine. It helps contribute to the fun factor. It helps the car tell you what it's doing. Some of the most important attributes for a car in this class to have are space and practicality. This is especially true if you have children. To demonstrate the space in the rear, I've brought along my own very large child. Ken?
There's room for children of all sizes in the rear of the new T-Roc, and unlike most people who say they are 6 foot tall, I actually am. In fact, I'm actually 6'3", and there is plenty of headroom here. One thing that I found interesting straight away is there's actually more leather or synthetic leather on the backs of the front seats than there are on the front. But if you've got kids in the back of the car and they are rubbing jam or sand or butter into the backs of the seats, it will be much easier to wipe off than if this surface was fabric. Speaking of which, the fabric that I'm sitting on, it feels nice. There's a very interesting texture and pattern onto it, and there's a nice indentation on the base and on the backrest. Two ISOFIX mounting points back here, complementing the one on the front very nicely, and there's a nice armrest that folds down here with 3 cup holders. Elsewhere, there's plenty of storage spaces, plenty of room for things to be lost and remaining in there for the entire duration of your PCP. And even though the tinted windows are very dark and this is quite a dark cabin, it doesn't feel too claustrophobic in here. Back to you, Gok, in the front.
Thanks, Ken. Let's take a closer look at this new interior. Now, if you're coming from the existing model, this is a complete overhaul. And if you're not, what might be important to know that this is evolutionary as opposed to revolutionary. The improvements have been made all across the board, including the infotainment and the operating system, as well as some of the physical controls and dials, which we'll get into in just a few moments. The T-Roc now comes with this 12.9-inch touchscreen as standard, and this is where all your multimedia or your Apple CarPlay and your HVAC controls primarily live. It will take a little bit of getting used to because there is a lot in the menu that you can customize, that you can tinker with to set your preferences just how you like. A tiny but significant improvement has been made to the HVAC controls, and it's that now it's backlit, so it's a lot easier to control at night. Down here we've got a couple of Type-C USB ports along with a wireless charge pad. And then down here we've got our engine start stop, our electronic handbrake, as well as a volume dial which can double as your control for different driving modes as well. Under my armrest here we've got this modular system where you can put different size water bottles all the way and including a bottle of wine. And just under the armrest here I've discovered something, somewhere to put some loose change, a parking permit of some description, as well as a card, which is very handy actually. Not sure if anyone else has discovered that yet, but that could be a first. Something else which is quite different is these door handles. I'm not sure if they're more or less intuitive than the traditional pull handles, but it's different. And then we've got all our traditional controls for your mirror as well as your windows. Lots of storage space in the door bins. The glove compartment is adequate. And overall, it's not an exciting place, but a functional and practical place to be. So why the T-Roc? Well, that's relatively easy. 2 million sold worldwide. It makes up one of 4 of the best-selling Volkswagens in the UK, and it's been around for almost a decade. So, should you think about upgrading your current T-Roc to one of these?
There has never been a better time to be spoilt for choice when it comes to a compact SUV crossover, with virtually every manufacturer offering a choice. However, VW have a pedigree in this segment. They've done it for a long time and they've done it well. When it comes to the price point and desirability, it's no wonder they haven't interfered with the ingredients.
Now, it may be an all-new T-Roc, but it's retained those core characteristics of appealing design and usability in a relatively small package. Should you think about coming over to Volkswagen, more specifically a T-Roc? Well, if you've got a growing family, the T-Roc is also growing. There's good levels of refinement, good level of equipment, and practicality levels are excellent. And there's more space than before. But what if you already have a T-Roc and you're thinking about upgrading to the new one? Well, if some of the stuff that drove you to the T-Roc in the first place are still important, then the good news is that they're all still present, except that now it's more user-friendly, the tech has improved, and there's a smidgen more space. So if you own a T-Roc and you love it, but you just want a little bit more T-Roc, then I have a solution for you. It's called the new T-Roc. And I think you'll love it. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video on the T-Roc, and if you haven't subscribed already, click on my head down here. I think you'll really enjoy this video if you enjoyed this one. Here we got very wet, and down here is one of my favorite videos, so fill your boots.